The Galactic Council chamber buzzed with nervous energy as representatives from 47 species gathered around the crystalline conference table. Admiral Keth of the Vorthan Empire leaned forward, his 6 eyes fixed on the holographic display showing the approaching human vessel. "This makes no sense," he muttered, his translator rendering his words in perfect standard. "The Devourers have consumed 3 entire star systems, their fleet numbers in the millions. And humanity sends 1 ship?" Commander Rax of the Hegemony nodded her scaled head in agreement. "Perhaps they misunderstood the threat level. We specifically stated that this enemy has destroyed everything in its path for the past 6 months." The human ambassador, a middle-aged woman named Lisa, sat quietly at the far end of the table. She had arrived 3 days ago with a simple message: humanity would help. When pressed for details about their military response, she had merely smiled and said, "You'll see." "Ambassador Lisa," Admiral Keth's voice carried a note of desperation, "surely your people realize the magnitude of this crisis. The Devourers don't negotiate. They don't retreat. They consume everything. Planets, ships, entire civilizations. We need every vessel you can spare." Lisa looked up from her data pad, her expression calm. "We sent what we deemed appropriate for the situation." "1 ship," Commander Rax's voice cracked with disbelief. "Against millions, your vessel will be destroyed in seconds." "Will it?" Lisa asked quietly. On the display, long-range sensors tracked the lone human vessel as it approached the outer rim of the Kepler system, where the Devourer fleet was stripping the 4th planet down to its core. The ship appeared unremarkable, roughly the size of a standard cruiser, smooth lines typical of human engineering, no obvious weapon arrays visible. Captain Davis stood on the bridge of the human vessel Defiance, watching the tactical display, with practiced calm. His crew of 30 worked silently at their stations, years of training evident in their efficient movements. Unlike the cramped, bustling bridges common to other species, the human command center was spacious and quiet. "Sir," Lieutenant Brown reported from the sensor station, "I'm reading approximately 2.3 million Devourer vessels. They're organized in a standard consumption pattern around the planet. Any response to our approach?" "Negative, sir. They seem to consider us an insignificant." Davis nodded. It was a common reaction. Humanity had only joined the galactic community 50 years ago, emerging from their single star system with technology that seemed almost primitive compared to the ancient civilizations around them. Most species viewed them as an interesting curiosity, enthusiastic, adaptable, but ultimately minor players in the vast cosmic theater. "Engineering status report." Chief Engineer Malik's voice came through clearly. "Temporal displacement drive is online and stable. Quantum resonance field generators are at full capacity. Molecular restructuring matrix is ready for deployment." "Outstanding." "Weapons?" "The Cascade system is armed and ready, sir." Back in the council chamber, the gathered representatives watched in horror as the human ship approached the massive Devourer swarm. The alien vessels, each the size of a city, began to turn toward the newcomer like sharks sensing blood in the water. "This is madness," whispered the ethereal delegate, her gaseous form shimmering with distress. "They're going to witness the destruction of an entire species military vessel." But Ambassador Lisa remained serene, her fingers steepled as she watched the display. The first Devourer ships opened fire, unleashing streams of energy that had melted mountains on a dozen worlds. The beams struck the human vessel directly and passed through it harmlessly. Admiral Keth's mandibles clicked in confusion. "Shielding technology?" "No," Lisa said softly. "Phase displacement. The ship exists slightly outside normal space-time. Energy weapons can't touch what isn't technically there." The human vessel continued its approach, seemingly oblivious to the thousands of energy beams passing through its hull. Then, as it reached the center of the Devourer formation, something changed. Captain Davis spoke a single word: "Execute." The Defiance suddenly became solid again, materializing directly in the heart of the enemy fleet. But now it wasn't alone. Somehow, impossibly, there were hundreds of copies of the ship. Each one identical, each one real. Temporal multiplication, Lieutenant Brown reported calmly. We're now present at 347 separate moments simultaneously. The effect was devastating. Each version of the Defiance activated its cascade weapon system, a device that induced rapid molecular breakdown at the quantum level. The technology didn't destroy matter so much as convince it to stop existing in an organized fashion. Devourer ships began to simply dissolve, not exploding, not burning, but unraveling at the atomic level as their constituent particles forgot how to maintain cohesion. In the council chamber, 47 species watched in stunned silence as 2.3 million enemy vessels ceased to exist in the span of 12 minutes. The temporal echoes of the human ship flickered and vanished one by one until only the original remained, floating serenely in empty space where moments before an unstoppable armada had been consuming a world. Admiral Keth was the first to speak, his voice barely a whisper. How? Ambassador Lisa stood up, gathering her materials. You asked why we sent only one ship. The answer is simple. One was enough. She paused at the chamber door. Humanity learned long ago that it's not the size of the force that matters. It's how creatively you apply the resources you have. As she left, the galactic representatives sat in stunned silence, staring at the empty space where an impossible victory had just been achieved. In the distance, the fourth planet of the Kepler system continued its orbit, scarred but alive, saved by a single human vessel that had redefined the very concept of naval warfare. Captain Davis opened a communication, channeled to the Council. This is the Defiance. Threat neutralized, returning to base. Oh, and Council. Humanity looks forward to continued cooperation in maintaining galactic peace. The transmission ended, leaving 47 civilizations to contemplate what they had just witnessed, and what it meant to have humans as allies rather than enemies.